that is how you play Fantasy Map Maker. But what do I think of the game? Well, let me tell you. Before I get started, just keep in mind, this is a preview copy, so things like components, artwork, and even rules may still be subject to change. That said, the version I played here already looks and plays really nice. First of all, as some of you may know, while I'm not great at drawing, I really enjoy it. And I especially enjoy games where you get to draw as part of the gameplay. That's one of the reasons why I love cartographers. And Fantasy Map Maker takes that concept to an entirely new level. One thing I really like is how minimal the components are, which is something I always appreciate in roll and writes. Yes, you have the cards for the different scoring goals, but beyond that, you only need the map sheet, 2 dice, and a pencil with an eraser. That's it. And for such a small amount of components, the game feels surprisingly deep. And what I probably like most about this game is how innovative it is when it comes to actually drawing your landmarks onto the map. In many map drawing games, you mostly just draw something inside of these spaces. Here you don't do that, or at least not only. A lot of features actually go over the borders between spaces, some are placed in the corners of spaces, and that gives you a much more flexible and creative way to build your map. It also makes the final map feel much more organic and realistic, which is a huge part of why the end result looks so great. The way this was implemented is absolutely great. The most charming part of this game is the end result. When you finish a session, you don't just have a score, you actually have a map you explored and created during the game. And that map has personality. It feels like your little world, and I really love it. The final maps can get quite intricate, and seeing them come together is incredibly satisfying. And yes, you could take this for like a role-playing game or anything else where you need a map, right? Really cool. In terms of gameplay, the core idea works really well. Yes, compared to cartographers, this is a bit more involved, and scoring well can be more thinky. But the actual flow of the game is very smooth once you understand how everything works. What I also like is the decision of when to stop drawing. Because you always have a choice between 2 different landmarks, there are situations where you could keep going, but you might risk messing up your scoring, especially toward the end of the game where certain landmarks are no longer what you want to add. That creates a really interesting tension, and it almost feels like a pushy luck mechanism. How far do you go? Can you squeeze out a few more points if you get a little lucky, or do you play it safe? That's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy that element. The learning curve is also in a good place. Once you understand how landmarks are placed, how exploring spaces works, and what you can and can't do, the game is actually quite straightforward. It's not complicated in rules-heavy sense, but you do need to put in a bit of effort up front to understand the different landmarks. Luckily, if you watch this playthrough, you should already have a good grasp of it. And in my experience, after one full game, it all starts to click. And it's very much worth it because the maps you get at the end are just so satisfying to create. The replayability also feels very high. There are loads of different scoring cards, and you can combine them in many ways. And it's not about seeing each scoring card once. They interact with each other, which changes the entire puzzle depending on what you combine. Maybe one scoring card wants you to place loads of mountains. But if you commit too hard or to that, you might block yourself from placing other features the other scoring cards need. So in a way, you're playing a slightly different game every time, which keeps the puzzle fresh. I really like that. And then there's even an expansion where you can play a longer game with 4 maps at the same time. You actually combine like 4 different quadrants here. I didn't play that in today's playthrough, but it's a very cool idea as well. And it's definitely something that can keep you busy for quite a while if you want a bigger and longer session. All in all, Fantasy Map Maker is a charming and rewarding drawing game that offers quite a deep and involved puzzle. And it creates these beautiful fantasy maps that feel personal and unique. It's easy to set up, uses very few components, and still offers a lot of depth and replayability through its different scoring combinations. If you enjoy drawing games or map making, this definitely is one to keep an eye on, and you should definitely then check out the Kickstarter that starts on February 1st. I will definitely follow the campaign, and I'm thinking about seeing if I will actually back that as well, although I already own the game. But this is one that I really enjoyed playing. And before I end the video, I again want to say a huge thank you to Harry Metcalf for providing me with a physical copy of the game. He clearly put a lot of effort into making sure this was a really nice and well-produced copy, and I truly appreciate that. Well, that concludes my playthrough and preview of Fantasy Map Maker. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching and for staying to the very end of the video. As usual, my thanks goes out to all of you. A special shout out to my generous patrons. The biggest thanks go to Thecos for supporting me at the highest tier. I really appreciate that. You can support me by watching, liking, and commenting on my videos, subscribing to my channel, support me on Patreon, and join my Discord server to hang out with me and my amazing community. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the very next video or my Discord server. Take care everyone, stay safe, and cheers.